Welcome to episode 8 of the Nobody Entertainment Podcast, the podcast where we talk about our lives, video games, music, movies, or anything else that's entertaining us throughout the week, and just whatever. My name is Nobody Jaymes, and this here is Nobody John. How are you doing this week, John?
Uh, I'm on call, so I'm doing all right.
Yeah, living the dream. Yeah. Now, previously, before we
I have a
started recording,
job, so I'm
that's good.
I'm better or in a better
Whoa.
position than all those people,
You were ready.
that don't. I
You were
mean,
ready to
besides
shit on
the
everybody.
yeah, I know, right? I mean, I'm in a better position than all those people that don't have jobs unless they're
Yeah.
independently wealthy and don't need jobs, because then they
Vote,
can
vote
suck
for
a
John.
toad.
2024. Vote for John. I'm gonna make the
Domain,
T-shirts now. It's
dude, I'll buy the domain.
I kill babies. I'm better than everyone.
Just
Like
the
vote for
bad
John.
babies, just the bad babies.
Yeah, I mean, which what do you mean by bad babies? Which babies do you consider bad,
You
John?
just look at the parents.
Okay, and what
You got an
what?
A and a B, and if I mean
Okay.
you look at them, you're like, I wouldn't want to see from that. Boom.
Yeah, A plus B does not equal C, or it does equal C, and you just shove those babies into traffic based on our previous conversations, right?
I mean, they'll crawl there themselves. I mean, no
I
need to
guess so.
push. That's rude.
So we, on our end, are getting ready to go on vacation. We are set to leave tomorrow, so we're all hustling and bustling. Like I told you, we've been going, or at least I've been going nonstop. I got up at 7 this morning, got the kids around, took them to a dentist appointment, came back. I went, did our grocery shopping, picked up all our stuff, bought a few things that were wrong, had to take it back to the store and do all of our returns. And the lady at the register had the nerve to tell me that the returns that I was making could have been returned months ago. The last time I tried to do a return at Walmart, they said, we're not taking returns because of COVID, blah, 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 blah. That's fine, whatever. I'll hold on to it. So I sat on it for months, right? I was like, I don't know when they're going to do this. I'm not going to make a trip.
I
So
got
then I
you.
go back today, and all of a sudden they're like, well, you could have brought that's the thing that bothers me. And I know I do this all the time in my field. You don't have to drop that little hint. You could just take it back and shut up. You don't need to tell me every single one of these items could have been returned months ago. Okay, we we can't go back in time, bitch. Just take it back now. So anyway, returned the items, hit the gym, went to the trail, did a run, came back, mowed the lawn, came back home, and just packed it all up, made dinner, had a conversation with my wife, and now I'm here talking to your ugly mug. How's your day been?
Well, as soon as work ended, I got one call, then another call, and then I was like, I ate like a jerk and had like 900 pounds of pizza last night. I'll go on a walk because my
What kind of
ankle's
pizza?
been hurting. I had Domino's,
Not a
beef.
sponsor.
Hmm? Yeah,
Not a
not
sponsor.
sponsored. Yeah, they didn't spot. I mean, you are what you eat, so I am Domino's. But no, I did like the build your own, so it's like extra cheese, extra sauce. Throw on some beef and some Philly cheesesteak, red pepper, spinach, onion. Boom. Anyway, so
Done.
I
You
went.
ate the whole thing, one sitting.
Well, I mean, I had to get up and get more slices. My plates are only so big, so not a fucking animal
I
eating in
started
front of
doing
a
that too.
box.
Okay. There's been a regular series of events in my life that have, you know, ended with me sitting with a box in my lap. Like, you have a long day at work. It's 8 o'clock. You're just like, man, I just got to grab something on the way home. But I'm craving some pizza. So I'm going to pick up a box, sit in the chair, just flop that top open, and you just take the whole thing down. I told you I've
No.
had weight problems. I've had weight problems in my life. And
From
I'm
that
not afraid to
story
go
is
back.
clear. Like,
I, I, I can't help myself. You get a pizza in front of me. It's not, plus I'm a completionist. You know, you finish what you
okay,
start. I'm not a quitter, John. I'm not a
that's a
quitter.
clap. That's a clap for you.
Yeah, do you put it in the fridge and come back to it later?
Like the next day, yeah.
You do? How
Or
much
yeah.
pizza's in that fridge today?
Well, none. It's been 2 days. I just devoured it
Uh,
all. And the stuffed bread, the stuffed cheesy bread, it's gone. It's all gone. No, so then I was going on a walk and I got two more calls before the end of a 1 mile. And I was just like, this is the worst aspect of my job, but still have a
it's
job.
not. That's not
Make
typical though, right?
No, I mean, I don't think so. No, I mean
You don't
sometimes it
think
can be
so?
bad. Sometimes
You
it can
live
be
it.
bad. Sometimes it's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
And do
know
you get
how it
paid?
is typical for everybody else, but for me, no, I don't like it. No.
Do you get paid for being on call?
Not anything extra. Nope, it's just part of the
No, but
gig.
do you get paid hourly? It's like literally you don't get paid, like you're just
No,
taking calls.
I'm salary taking calls. Yeah.
So do you only work 3 or 4 days that week because you're gonna be taking
Nope.
calls all weekend?
No bennies past that.
Oh, you just said it. Sorry, your salary. I missed that part.
Yeah.
So
Listen.
yeah, they can use you and abuse you. Okay, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, yeah, I've had to push back about a couple things. It's supposed to be for like emergencies only, but like sometimes client or something will try to take advantage of that, and I have to push back. And sometimes they get mad, and it's just like I don't need the stress in my life. So
In my industry, we've had the same situation. I have like my fire alarm set up to obviously, well, stupid comment. They go off when they need to, but we had a faulty sensor in one of my air ducts one time, so
yeah.
the alarms were going off for hours, and I had to call the technician. But it was Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, one of the two, doesn't matter. But the guy that was on call went to the creek or went to the river for the weekend, which isn't that what you're not supposed to do? Like you're supposed to be available.
Yeah, I mean like as long as he can take care of it. Like ours, if it's an emergency or whatever, like we're available to call you back in 10 minutes and should be able to be doing stuff within like 25 or something like that.
So the sensor in the air duct was faulty. So they needed to do one of two things. They either needed to bypass that sensor, which he had to do apparently on the spot, like in the facility,
Oh,
or
okay.
or he could come and silence the alarm because we didn't have access to the silence panel for whatever reason. This was a new box. We had just gotten a remodel, brand new setup.
So
I,
they did
he,
not
he
have like remote access?
I, apparently not, because he's like, well, I can come in, but we're gonna have to charge you time and a half. I'm like, well, my fire alarm's going off for the first 2 to 3 hours of a Saturday. I think you're gonna need to come in. Like I can't do anything with this. It's literally, I mean, they got it for some reason. They got it silenced on half of the store, and then the other half was still blaring like crazy, which doesn't make any sense to me. And like I said, with the remodel, I think it might have just been faulty wiring or whatever the case is. But the moral of the story is, it's the ball's in their court. Fix it, and that's it. Just drives me crazy. I Again, if you're on call, don't go to Cancun. Stay local.
Yeah, I don't understand where he was at and why he couldn't do it remotely. So,
People suck, man.
or
People
tone
suck.
out the wire, make sure there's continuity between point A and point B so you don't have to be called while you're at the
I will
creek.
say this, and I'm probably wrong about this one, John, but I do feel like there is a little bit of a I don't, there's a line of some sort, and that line I don't like to cross. And I get it, but they call you and they make you troubleshoot it first, which I get it if it's something simple. But if they start telling me to take things apart, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this panel off. You're going to search around for the green wire. You're going to pull the green wire out. You're going to have to clip it back. You're going to have to rethread it. And I'm just like, dude, best case scenario, I do it wrong. And you're going to have to come out tomorrow. So just come do this. I'm trying to run a business here.
I think he was just trying to do the first thing to get the alarm silenced because you're not gonna be able to have your business like that. So,
I understand, but when you tell me, well, I'm actually at the river, so I don't have to come in today.
oh well, if he says
Go
something
fuck
like that,
yourself.
fuck him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be time and a half. Okay, yeah, I'm aware. Come here.
I called you. I'm aware of our contractual agreement and the money that will need to be spent for this thing to stop blaring in my face. So I'm
On the
done
other
there.
end of the, on the other end of the spectrum, we have the Pepsi system. The people, you call them up and they say, I've had exact scenarios where, okay, you're going to pop the faceplate off, you're going to dig around, you're going to find this, is this hooked up? Okay, so you're going to take a screwdriver, you're going to tighten this screw. Okay, you're going to remove this cylinder, you're going to put, and I'm just like, seriously, guys, I'm like, it's it's the sweet tea that's not working. If I'm going to have to sit here and troubleshoot this thing for 45 minutes,
Just
I've
put a
got bigger
fucking
fish
post-it
to
note on
fry.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
We had no
Or
sweet tea.
the last time I had to call him, that I said this flavor's not working. The guy comes out. He was there for 45 seconds, and he was like, "Yeah, one of the connectors just popped off." I'm like, "That's something you just troubleshoot, just a bit. Not a connector to the bag and box. There's a connector inside of the actual fountain. So I'm not going to look like that much of an idiot. But it's like, okay, troubleshoot me a little here. Like I don't need you coming out and charging me a service, charge. But I guess it's Corona, so That's probably what they were doing. They're like, hey, we'll be there. We got nothing else going on. Everybody else is shut down.
Yep.
Anyway, I went off a bit. I went off on a bit of a tangent there, so sorry about that
That's all
one.
right.
How else is your week?
Well, finished the second season of Castlevania on Netflix. Kind of binged through that bad boy.
I'm needing to watch
Uh,
it. Is it pretty good?
Dude, I really wish that there were more episodes per season or that it continued going on. It's definitely something. It's a must watch. So,
How do you rate it? First season. First season.
oh,
Good?
first
No.
season?
Garbage. Blank.
No,
Good,
first
great,
season like
gaga.
good, almost gaga. Like
Wait, wait, wait,
it's
wait. Hold on. Good is 3. Gaga is 5. So if
fine,
it's good,
great.
okay, so it's great.
It's great. It's under the great.
Season 2.
Season two's good. I don't like the way it ended, so it's good.
Turns out no one's a vampire. They're just imagining it.
Too much opium. No, though it's a great series. All together. Definitely something you gotta watch. Next is the Umbrella Academy. Season two's out
Season
on that.
2, huh?
Gonna have to check that out. I think the Boys season
You
two is
haven't
that
watched
out
it yet. Not out yet. I think it comes out
soon.
within the next 2 weeks. I want to watch
Expanse
that.
season five's coming out.
Oh my God, you're going to be busy.
I'm gonna take vacation for this shit.
Are you?
No, no.
Oh,
Oh,
some
and
people.
Seven Deadly Sins next season is coming out for Oh, that is out for the Seven Deadly Sins. I have to watch that. Catch up.
Hold on, you did not watch Umbrella Academy season 2?
Not season two. Nope. No spoilers, James.
I haven't watched it. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of the first season. It didn't really catch me. Like the
Nope.
first episode, I thought it was okay, and then it got good, and then it ended okay, and then they introduced like the hitmen, and I was expecting it to be like the really tactical, really strategic with how, and then they just kind of they end up being like doofuses,
You're talking
and
about
I
the
did
correction people?
the people with the bear masks.
Yeah, the corrections. Yeah, they correct things.
Sure. And then after the 3rd or 4th episode, I was just like, I'm just not entertained by this. I like the writer of the comic is Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance fame,
hmm
and he is actually, I think he is participating in the screenwriting for Netflix, so he's at least a producer and potentially writer. Um, I love The Watchmen. I love The Boys. Things in that vein. And this seems like it is literally just hand in hand with those other shows or movies, and it didn't grab me. I think a big part of it was the fact that the characters, the superheroes, their traits weren't well defined by 3 to 4 hours in. I feel like I was still like, well, what are these powers? Like, what can this guy do? How is that relevant? And I
How's that? How's that a power?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like I said, I need to watch the whole thing. I should go back. Like I said, I like the quirky nature of it. They had that episode, or the I think it was the first episode, the scene where they're dancing in the house to I think we're alone now. So it shows them all in their own rooms and they're dancing. And I wish they would have kind of carried on with that little bit of a quirk. Um, and like I said, it was hard to buy into. I need to get back into it though.
It's pretty good. So I need to check that out. But anyway, so I'm excited for the television stuff that's going on. I learned that the creators of Dark have another series they're coming out with. 18.99, I think is what it is.
Oh, the show's called 18.99. It doesn't cost
Yeah.
18.99.
No. Show. I
Probably
saw
going to be on Netflix. Well, while you look that up, I'm interested in hearing
it
about it.
is.
I'm going to go into one of mine real quick. Um, I watched a little film called Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Have you seen this movie?
I have not seen Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. This is another Andy Samberg vehicle,
Oh
and you're a big
yeah.
Andy Samberg guy,
I
so I
am.
thought, yeah,
Yeah.
it's super, super stupid, but it's stupid in the right ways. It's just about a guy by the name of Connor For Real, who used to be a part of a band called the Style Boys, which is the Lonely Island. So I'm sure you know who the Lonely Island is. So his real life like rap group band, whatever. But he ends up venturing out into his own solo career, and then it's just about the crazy antics for him on his second album release. So it's film documentary style. So they're basically documenting his life upon his second release, and it's just super. Like I said, it's real stupid, but it is incredibly funny. It just bombed at the box office. I don't know why, because
When did it
like
come out on the box office?
I want to say 2017. I'm not 110% sure. I could double check that real quick.
Because they did Popstar in 2016. That's what I was looking at. I was like, man, this sounds really familiar.
That I mean that would be it. It's called Popstar. Yes, 2016. Yeah.
Okay, so I have seen that. I saw that at the box office.
And what'd you think?
I loved it. I mean, like, it has like some slow parts of it, but it's funny as shit.
Yeah, I think this is the third time I've actually watched it. And after having watched like Palm Springs and a couple of, I watched a little bit of That's My Boy, I think, with Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg. Uh, and I mean, I got like 20 minutes in that movie, and I was just like, whatever. Um, but I was like, I'm in the mood for a good Andy Samberg comedy. And I think this hits all the right notes. There's a lot of really good humor in this movie. So if I were to rate it on the garbage, blank, good, great, and gaga, I think I would probably give this a great. Personally, I think
Yeah,
it knows what it wants to be, and it achieves it.
you know what's a Gaga comedy film?
Is it Andy Samberg?
No,
Oh, okay.
Pineapple Express.
I agree. The
That's a
one thing
Gaga. That's a Gaga movie
Pineapple
for
Express is
comedy.
the
For comedy.
no. Pineapple Express is for comedy what the Avengers is for blockbuster action, in the sense that you watch that movie and it hits so hard and it is so funny the first time you see it, and then every time you watch it after, it doesn't live up to it because all the high beats are just spoiled. Like the scene at the very beginning, whenever they're testing the guy, like they're having him smoke marijuana to
Yeah.
just see what the effects are, and they're like, "Tell me how you feel," and he's like, "Fuck you," and it's just so. And then they come in and they're like, "All right, exterminate him," and the guy walks in the hazmat suit with a flamethrower, and he's like, "Oh my God, Darth Vader, what are you doing?" And then they just set him on fire. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so funny.
I still think it's a great movie. It is definitely in the Gaga realm. It is the bomb.com. I watched it. I remember buying that on UHD for the PSP because I was like, I need to take this everywhere. I bought some special cable to plug in to my friends' TVs for the component Ds. That was a great movie.
I watched that movie in Las Vegas. I took my wife, my now wife, to Las Vegas for her 21st birthday. That was the one that I almost took you on instead. But we went to Las Vegas. We did some gambling. That movie came out, Friday night, whatever the case is, and we were kind of talking about what we were going to do at the time. Being young and stupid, we didn't have a ton of money, so we were looking to go see a show, like one of the Blue Man Group or like one of the Cirque du Soleil. But every ticket I looked at was like $200 or something, and I'm just like, well, I don't really want to drop that kind of money. Um, Hey, Pineapple Express came out. She's like, you want to come all the way to Las Vegas to go see a movie in a theater? I was like, yeah, I kind of do. Because I'm one of those people, I like to go to movie theaters like all around the country. Like anytime
Yeah.
I go visit somewhere, I just like to see what they got going on. So we watched that movie in the theater in Las Vegas for no reason. We could have waited 2 days, but
It's good though. It was good.
it is good. Did you find your information on that 1899?
Yeah, I looked it up. That is the title of the show, and I will definitely be waiting for it. They did a
With
great
bated
job.
breath.
Yeah. 1899, man. We'll see. We'll see. The Expanse is definitely something I'm looking forward to. That is one. Speaking of like great shows, I don't know why there are aspects of it that were really good. The Strain. I enjoyed The Strain. I really did. So I don't know. Have you watched it? No. It's a good horror vampire show called Vampire Strigoi for I don't even remember what his race or ethnicity was, but it's like I don't know. They call him Strigoi. It's good though. It's by who's it?
Guillermo
Guillermo
del
del
Toro.
Toro. Yep. He did had a heavy hand in that, and I enjoy his stuff. So that shows.
That was one of those shows that, first of all, I love horror. The problem that I really have, I have a hard time getting into hour-long dramas and specifically hour-long horror shows. I love the horror genre, but the uh, the shows like the X Files, for instance, that came out a little bit before my time. I had a hard time getting into it. The other ones that stick out to me are like House, no, American Horror Story.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've watched any of those, but I've
Madison
I've
has. I haven't.
I've dabbled. It's a little too melodramatic for me. I'm blanking on the developer, the creator of the show's name, but he's the same developer of Nip Tuck, Glee, Ryan something or something Ryan.
Yes.
Anyway, you're look it up for me, John. Look it up for me while I ramble on for a second. I uh, I think he gets a little too far up his own ass, and he tries to go too much into the obscure. Especially with this most recent season, it was like 1989 or something like that, and I thought it was going to be great because it's kind of a play off of each one's kind of a play off of its own little subgenre of horror. This one specifically was like the Friday the 13th slasher horror films. They had Coven, which is based off of witches. They had um, the first one, which is based off of a haunted house. They had season two, which was based in an asylum and called
This has Lady Gaga in it as well.
in a couple of the seasons. She came in Hotel, I think is what it was. I know you're a big Lady Gaga fan. She won
Oh
like a
yeah.
Emmy or something like that for her acting in that. Ryan
She's
Murphy,
not.
right? Ryan Murphy. You got held up on the Lady Gaga. I asked you to do a job, and you failed me when you got dazzled by the
Yes,
job.
Ryan Murphy is one of the creators. The other one is Brad Falchuk.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, moral of the story is if you do like horror, I think you could dabble in there and find plenty of excitement, but each one goes a little too off the rails. Like Asylum, it's set in an asylum, so it has to do with like mad doctors, but they're also making monsters, but there's also aliens, and there's also a slasher murderer guy. It's just
Well, the aliens
all
were
over the
just with
place.
that mixed couple. The scientist was an old Nazi who was experimenting on, was it his kid? I don't know. It was kind of fucked
See,
up.
you're hitting the nail on the head here, and even you with your limited knowledge and not having seen it, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole season or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like,
well, you know,
there's like
there's a
literally billion.
Nazi doctor that's making monsters by experimenting on his kid, and then you got this interracial couple. I think they're interracial,
I
uh,
think so.
and they're being
I think it's
abducted
supposed to be
by
like, oh,
aliens. And
they were in the Blue Book. Who were those people? Blue Book.
are you thinking
Uh,
the Green Book?
no, no, no. There's a Blue Book is a government thing about aliens.
Oh,
Like the interracial couple that gets like in that story is kind of like an offshoot of an actual like couple that's recorded in the Blue Book that like got chased by a UFO or something. I gotta look up their names now.
here's a season of the show you need to watch. It's American Horror Story, but the season that you need to watch is American Horror Story Roanoke, and that is like it's weird to me because that is one of the lowest rated seasons that they've actually released, but I think it stays in the pocket perfectly, and it produces a product that is solid throughout because it's really really neat the way that the show works because the first five episodes are based off go ahead, go for it.
Barney and Betty Hill. They're the ones that were in the Blue Book. They were, you know, abducted or whatever by aliens. Yeah, well, I had to. I was like,
I know, I liked it, I thought it was funny.
yeah. So like that's a real thing. Uh, you
Oh
know,
well, that's fine, but that could be its own season of television. They don't need to
it
throw
should
in
have been. It was kind of off. It was
because
kind of like,
they
why is
could do
this
like
even
American
here?
Horror Story Invasion or something like that, and they could have made it really really fun. But like for instance, to go back a little bit, Roanoke is based off of these five people that go to uh, a cabin in the woods. Basically, is what they do. It like they're just actually taking a trip. There's a group of like I want to say five or six people, and or maybe they move into the house. I'm sorry, it's been a couple years since I've watched that season of television, but spoilers for Roanoke. Spoilers.
Yeah, it's like I haven't seen
I'm not going to go into a lot, but spoilers. So the five of them or so are in this cabin, and it's showing their lives basically in documentary style. So it's basically them reacting and recounting stuff that actually happened. And
it.
then
Mm-hmm.
at the 5 episode mark, it switches gears and they produce a reality show where they're basically getting people to go in and relive it. It's weird, but it's a nice little twist, and it makes it a lot of fun. And then you kind of see how it plays out the first time, and then you get to rewatch how it plays out the second time. It's just a really neat twist, as opposed to, okay, so here's ghosts and demons and monsters and Nazis and aliens, and it's just sometimes it's too much.
Why
Sometimes
can't you have the Nazis and the demons in the same ballpark? Wolfenstein does.
that's fine. You can have one or two. You don't need 11, and that's
Who said the
Island didn't
aliens
catch.
weren't like future time traveling Nazis? Right,
That's
Spike?
see, the thing you got going with the cat's a little
Well,
freaky.
she was like literally walked by and then like almost like now my audio cable's all jacked up because she was like, I'm gonna walk and then I'm gonna get entangled. That's why I was like bending over. Anyhow, if you like alien shows that are like pseudo history,
You gotta go
this
into the
one's
Expanse,
no.
Battlestar
This it's
Galactica.
called no, it's called Dark Skies, and I know there's a movie. I don't think it's related. I didn't see it because I hate grays, like the aliens grays, like real race war. But Dark
Vote
Skies,
for
watched it
John.
as a
2024. Is Dark Skies the one that had the game that came out with it at the same time?
no, I don't remember a game.
I
You're
think it.
you talking about Independence Day?
No. There was a show that came out that had a simultaneous release on Sci-Fi, and then an actual like kind of an MMO style game that came out in the same time frame. So you'd play along. You didn't really know what was going on in the show unless you played the game, vice versa. It was actually one of the first of its kind. It's pretty interesting.
No, man, this is from like 1996 or something.
I see that 97. Yeah, this is not that show.
Yeah, it's good, great show.
Where'd you
Scared
find it?
me.
You give. That's the problem with you. You give no backstory. You're like, you know what? You should watch Dark Skies. So I went to the grocery store.
I was younger. It was on TV.
Okay.
There is these
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna
aliens.
build a time machine. You're gonna go back to John's birthplace. You're gonna
ABC. I
you're
think it was
gonna
on
watch
ABC,
him watching this show.
which you should. Anyhow, so like, it's all about government conspiracy. So what they do is they set up all the things that happened in the 70s, like Vietnam War, assassination of JFK, and they all tie it to like this secret alien organization. Now, the aliens that you predominantly think of, I call them the Greys. You know, big black eyes, gray skin, UFO type people. They're actually an alien species that's been enslaved by a ganglion parasitic alien that's sentient.
Spoilers.
Yeah, you're screwed. Anyhow, they're
This is a
behind everything.
one season show, so you're not buying in for too much. And after you're done with
As much
Dark
as
Skies, you can watch Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap, yeah, that was alright show.
Scott Bakula.
Boo.
There you go. Dark Skies. Newly graduated, I can't read, newly graduated from college, idealistic couple John Loneguard and Kimberly Sayers arrive in 1961 Washington, D.C. to become part of President John F. Kennedy's new frontier, but they soon uncover the existence of Majestic 12, a sinister and highly covert government agency dedicated to protecting Earth from the Hive, an insidious alien entity, while keeping this horrifying menace a secret from the public at large. Before you can say Mars needs women, John and Kimberly are on the run for their lives, pursued by Captain Frank Bach, the ruthless leader of Majestic 12, as well as the eerie Hive, which wants to snuff out the two humans before they reveal their discovery to other Earthlings.
Mm-hmm.
NBC! You could probably not find the show anywhere because it looks like it was not very popular. Following fan campaigns for many years, an announcement was made that Dark Skies would receive a complete series DVD box set release in October of 2007. 2007. However, Sony Entertainment subsequently canceled the release, citing prohibited music licensing costs. So, good luck.
Yep. Right.
Well, I watched a movie, John. Just I finished it yesterday. It's called The Grudge 2020. Have you seen it?
No.
Don't watch it. It sucks. It's the definition of garbage. Okay, so going back to not the original Grudge, which is called Ju-on, which is a Japanese horror film. It was remade for the United States in like 2003, I'm gonna guess.
12?
Wasn't that? It was way earlier than that. Maybe 2006. Are you looking it up?
Oh yeah, I'm doing The Grudge.
I bet it's
That was
2006.
2020, 2004.
Okay, I was right there on that line.
You
I
were
said
good, yeah.
2003,
Wuon?
2006. I was way off. So
Wuon?
is the original Japanese release.
Correct.
Then there was The Grudge starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, and from what I remember, The Grudge itself, the 2006 version, was probably good. It kind of like jumped off of the Ring because the Ring came out, and then this came out.
What is that the one with the demon up in the corner? Like the Darth Maul looking motherfucking demon?
No, that's Insidious.
That one.
That
That
movie
one.
was like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
That's a
That
good movie
demon
too.
though.
That movie was good too. But The Grudge. So I watched the not the Japanese version. I haven't watched that because the American version is almost essentially a shot for shot remake. Um, I'm not going to say it's a great movie. I think it was at least good. So when they remade this, The Grudge again in 2020, which came out in like March of 2020, I was kind of, yeah, it was okay. I'll check it out. I think it's probably going to be okay. Man, this movie couldn't suck worse. It is it is generally awful. But what they did is they took three different. Okay, let me back up for just a second. The Grudge, the story is based off a house that is cursed. So there's some people that have died, so some children that have died in the house that are basically, it's kind of like the Ring. Whereas if you step foot in the house, then you're cursed too, and then you start seeing like images or scary, scary
Yeah, but what if you
things.
leave the house?
You same thing. You leave the house, you are cursed. So then it
Oh.
follows you, and then it eventually kills you. Okay, so it's
Okay,
very
so
much like
burn the
the
house
Ring.
down.
That's what happens. Spoilers at the end of the Grudge, this most recent one, and then the curse. You're still cursed, so then you die, and then your house is now cursed. So the curse doesn't end. So I like where your head's at, though. You're right there.
Why
You
don't
would
you
have
burn yourself in the cursed house?
that would probably end it.
Done.
You're a genius. But this one, three separate stories interspliced and chopped up to make a feature length film with, as far as I could tell, no indication of what the fuck was going on. So you're watching this, and then it gets up to a point, and then it just pops up on the screen 2006, and then it shows something else that's going on, and then it cuts in 2009, and then something else is going on. So it's basically showing three different people's timelines that have interacted with this house, completely random. In this instance, I think they could have made the same movie and made it a like a series, and not like a in on television. I'm talking specifically in the theater, and make it a series of smaller vignettes. And so you show like a 30, 40-minute window of this is what happened here. Because those specific stories were actually kind of interesting, but they were chopped up so weirdly that it made it just not entertaining.
They
That
tried to make it to where it was confusing, jumping through timelines and all that other
it,
jazz.
and it intentionally confused you to try to mask and make itself look a little bit more heady than it actually was. The movie was terrible, terrible. It was relied exclusively on jump scares, and it was so bad. The jump scares were like this. We're this bad. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get out of frame for a second. Okay, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see your back.
That's fine. It's part of it.
Siri's gonna answer
See-
for you too.
can you see me, Sergio? Okay, hold on. Here we go. We're trying this again.
Okay, okay.
This is exactly how it would work. Ah, ah, ah. And that's what it would do. It would like zoom in on the face. It's just nothing. Like there's a guy sitting in a car, and he has a buddy in his car with him, but the buddy like falls asleep or something. So he's driving, and he like looks over, and all of a sudden there's a girl there, and it like zooms in three times on her face. It's like what? And then it's gone. Like what is this?
That's old. So we were seeing like some like that shitty blood doctor on Blood Island or whatever that movie we saw.
Yeah,
I mean that you probably didn't see, but that's what they
I
would
didn't
do.
see it,
They
but I
would
know
they
what you're
would
talking
go
about.
bzz, 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 zoom in, or they would shake and they would go in and out, like old school 60s, 50s. Like, oh, we don't got special effects. What do we do? Fucking zoom in 100 times, dude.
But it was
Duh.
it it was every scare in the movie. Like it showed a bathtub, and then it showed like there was no one even in the house. Like no one was in the house. It just like went upstairs, and then it shows the bathtub, and there's nothing there, and then you see a head slowly poke up out of the bathtub, and it's like, and it's like, ah, it's not scary. It's just dumb.
I don't know.
The movie
What's
sucked.
yeah, what's scarier than a clown in the street? A clown at your door. A clown in your I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Garbage.
Garbage.
It's garbage. But to delve into the big one that I finally finished, Ghost of Tsushima for the PlayStation 4. It just came out, I think, about a month ago. This game is gaga for sure. It's amazing. I loved it. It's set in Tsushima, which is an island off of Japan. So it's very simple. Storyline is very basic. You are a samurai during the Mongol invasion, and your island is taken over by Mongols, and your goal is to retake the island. So, to not go into too many deep spoilers, it is a third-person action game. It's very much in the same vein of the previous Sucker Punch games, which is the developer of like Infamous 2. They've done. I always mix this up, but oh, Sly Cooper. They did the Sly Cooper series. Um, but it's very much in the same vein of leveling up, building up your character, and again, just seeking revenge and deciding. That's where the big conflict is you're either going to stick with the honorable samurai tactics, which is very much an upfront, old school, like, hey, face me, and then sword fight, and the winner is the champion, versus the assassin. So you are sneaking around, slitting people's throats from behind, things like that. So that's the reason the game is called Ghost of Tsushima, is because you have to embrace your ghost nature in order to retake your island. Whereas your uncle, which is the leader of the samurai in Tsushima, specifically wants to remain honorable and not besmirch the name of the Sakai clan. So he's not okay with what you're doing, etc., etc., etc. Moral of the story is it's an open world game. Fantastic navigational cues. Instead of having like a mini map or a compass at the top of the screen, it's going to have a guiding wind that you swipe up on the touchpad.
Hmm.
It'll blow in the direction that you should move in, and it also has a lot of context clues. So if you're looking to upgrade your character, you might see some smoke billowing in the distance. That might be a Mongol invaded camp that you can retake, or you can find you see a big red tree in the distance. That's going to be a hot spring, which increases your overall health. Um, you're going to see a yellow canary or bird of some sort that will fly into your periphery, and you'll follow it to potentially a new piece of armor. So there's just a lot of little context clues versus just specifically the game telling you where to go and what to do. But the thing that makes it, for me, a Gaga style game is just basically if your style of game is a checkbox style. So if you're looking for a game to, here's a list of 25 things you need to do. And those 25 things range from, again, hitting those previously mentioned things like the hot springs to increase your health, to find all the armor, to complete the main missions, to complete the side missions, and you can just tick it off as you go, to uncover the entire map by clearing the fog out, to upgrading your saddle for your horse. It just there's a plethora of things that you can accomplish in this game. Uh, then this game is going to be for you. If you're not into that style of game, then you're probably not going to like it. I would liken it to simple games like the Far Cry 3 or the Assassin's Creed or the even the Shadow of War. If you like that game, then this is going to be the kind of game for you, especially if you like the samurai uh, images.
So are you an origami? Like a dead person that's been brought back for
No,
vengeful spirit? No? Okay.
no. There's no supernatural aspects to the game. Minor spoilers.
That's
That
fine.
it's all as upfront. It's crazy because actually the thing is like it's really neat because it distinguishes itself right at the get go. The Mongol invaders, the leader of the Mongol uh, invaders. He walks up. He's got like what looks like a chalice of a drink in his hand,
Hmm.
and he's like, send me your best warrior. And the warrior like runs out, and he's like getting ready to sword fight him because he's an honorable samurai. And then he just throws the drink in his face, which is actually like an
Poison.
ignition fluid,
Oh, okay.
and then he just sets him on fire. He just and you're just like, holy crap, this guy has no honor at all. And that's the neat thing is the game builds on that. This is the last thing I'll say about it because, like I said, I want to film a full review of it and post it separately. But it builds on the fact that you are exclusively an honorable samurai at the beginning, and it's you basically, I want to say, building up to being an assassin, like more of a ninja
Ninja.
assassin.
Yeah.
But really, you're kind of descending into a ninja assassin because now you're being dishonorable, and your uncle's begging you to stop, and it's great. It's really, really, really great.
So it's those moral decisions, kind of like I forget what it was. Dark Forces, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces, where you could go light or dark side,
Sure.
make some moral decisions.
Yep. And there's no scale to it. Like you don't choose, you don't get good or get bad in the game, but you do. It takes you down a path that leads you to being specifically the assassin.
Does the
You
environment change? On what I thought I heard, where like the environment changes around you for what path you're taking.
No, it doesn't,
Mm.
because you don't have a choice. You're going to, you can still
Okay.
be, you can still be honorable because what it does is it has a very different combat style. So you have these standoffs. So every time you encounter enemies, it gives you an option to hit up on the D-pad, and it's a standoff, which means you're going to face them one on one. And at the beginning of the game, you do literally one on one. And what you do is you just hold the triangle button, and then when they go to strike, you release the triangle button, and then you just kill them in one swipe. By the end of the game you could kill I think about 6 people in the group, but they get a lot harder. So they'll like kind of coerce you into striking first. And if you strike first, then they hit you to the point where literally if you take one more hit, you're going to die. If you hit them before they hit you, then you kill them instantly. So it's a very big handicap. But you start out in that way. You have to do that, right? Like that's your only option. You're going to invade these camps up front, and that's how you're trained. That's the only option. And then you get to the point where you're unlocking other skills, like your sneaking abilities increased. You're able to assassinate, like I said, from behind. You pick up a bunch of different traits, and it's great. It's an absolute great game, and it makes me sad that it's an
Over.
well, not necessarily. I will say this about it. This is the
Well, I
one
mean, like
negative.
that game's finished. You beat it.
Yeah, as soon as I beat it, I deleted it off my PlayStation because it is a game I'll never return to just because I got my complete fill of it by
Mm-hmm.
platinuming it. I The thing that makes me sad about it is that it's locked on the PlayStation, and people like yourself will never get the experience unless you buy into the PS5 to
Or they release it.
try it out. But I played the game wrong. I you went through the initial like tutorial and the first sections, the first required cutscenes, missions, etc. And then I cleared out the entire bottom half. There's 3 sections of the map, and I cleared out the entire bottom section. I did all the side stuff, and then I went back and tried to do the main missions, right? Which I will say, as is the case with like every video game you've ever played, the side missions don't have as much weight or impact as the main missions. So by the time I was done with that and going back to the main missions, I was like, this is kind of boring. It's kind of stale. I'm kind of done with it. So again, I probably put 20 hours in at that point before
Sometimes
I
I
even.
don't know why the developers put in those side missions. Is it to increase the amount of hours to complete everything or something? I don't know.
So in this instance, I think that they did a great job with it. And here's the thing. If we go back to like the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's the best podcast game you could ever play. You're going to kick on a podcast and you're just going to play it blindly, not worry about any of the story because there's not a lot of story. You're just exploring, you're just killing, and you're just leveling. That's it. Ghost of Tsushima is right in the middle of that, and you're exploring, you're leveling, you're killing, but you're also buying into the story. Or you're not, but the story is there. right? So there's a lot of times I'm putting on a podcast and then I'm kicking it off. But the side missions are for these characters that you're bringing into your world, and they help you along your journey a
Okay.
lot. So you're going to have them help you out regardless. So you could ignore their side missions, and then they're just going to be tagging along because they're trying to help you take their land back. But if you want to understand where they're coming from, then you're going to hit their side missions and make it um, it's going to make it worth your while. You're going to actually buy into these characters and have a lot of fun with the game. So,
Okay.
like I said, grand scheme of things, having played it all the way through, again, I'm going to give it a gaga, but that's just my first initial reactions. I have a lot more to say. Like I said, I'm thinking about doing another recording this evening and uploading that one separately, and just having it the Ghost of Tsushima review for obviously Nobody Entertainment. So
Well, do it.
you do you. What else have you been doing, John?
Um, game shows. Went to the DMV. Wife got
That's
that new
fun.
car. Had to get that done. That was not too bad. It wasn't bad at all actually. It was pretty quick. COVID is awry and it's really put some order. That's what I like about it. It's put some order onto things. So there's lines, and everybody's not just crammed in like cattle into it because they only let so many people inside the facility. I am excited about one thing though. So like AMD, they removed a partner thing that they did for StoreMI, which is solid state caching for hard drives. And the new version of it has just come out for like the new motherboards and stuff like that, and it will be backported to mine hopefully third quarter this year. Which I know it doesn't mean a lot to, I don't know, like you, but you could take like a regular hard drive. So if I wanted to, I could buy a 10 terabyte hard drive and then speed it up with a solid state. So it would have like that caching ability, which is,
Right?
I mean, like 10 terabytes, like it's a decent amount of storage right there. I never have to delete a game ever. So
Yeah, 10 terabytes. That would be a, a ridiculous. Although I was just looking through and kind of going, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive on my PlayStation. I upgraded, and Call of Duty, the most recent
200
one,
gigs.
it's only 90, but still, it's insane.
Yeah.
And then I think I have Red Dead Redemption, which is like, or two, which is like 65 gigs, so we're like 155 right there. It's just crazy. It is crazy how big these game files are getting.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's the one thing you're just gonna have to expand your storage on those new consoles. Like
What do you
right
think these
now, I
new
have,
What do you think these new consoles are going to launch with?
oh, it's a terabyte.
You think so?
After formatting, 890 gigabytes or so. I hope so.
I mean, if they don't launch with a terabyte, then they're just wasting their time because you're literally going to get 4 or 5 games on there.
Yeah. Maybe the cheap model will have 500.
I don't think I. No, I don't think that works because the cheap model is going to be the no disk drive model, which is download only. That's going to be
Yeah, well,
they,
that's
they
pennies,
they're
pennies for that. I don't
they're
understand
they're
the
both
disk drive thing.
they're going to be the same. I all but guarantee the PS5s specifically. Did you hear that Halo Infinite was
Isn't
yeah
launching.
is been pushed back to 2021?
I don't know. PlayStation hasn't put their stuff out yet about their expandable drives. Their NVMe, PCI 4.0, whether or not they're 4 lanes. I read the expansion cards for the Xbox are only 2 lanes. So I was like,
Wait,
okay,
wait. Hold on.
what?
So you're saying PlayStation hasn't put out?
They have not put out how many lanes the expandable storage gets.
Okay, and Xbox
So
has put it out and it's only 2 lanes.
two
And that's
lanes, two
bad.
lanes. No, I mean it's still fast as all get out. Like it's as fast as my 4 lane PCI 3.0 drive, but I mean if PlayStation, so the deal is like if PlayStation has the lanes and can do 4 to the expandable storage, which I don't think so. I think it'll be 2 as well. Um, but I mean like if you buy a PCI 4.0 drive that operates at just 2 lanes, then it's basically 4 lanes at 3.0 speeds. I just don't understand. I don't understand it, but whatever.
I guess we'll find out.
we'll find out because I was like, man, maybe they'll just have chips on the board and it'll use the processor's lanes, and so then if you wanted to put expandable storage on there, you got full 4 lanes. I don't know if you've looked, but like Steven, who was on our last podcast, was like he used to talk all kinds of smack. He's like, this storage is crazy. Is the PCs don't have anything like it. PCs do. The advantage for like something like the PlayStation is the software engineering that has gone behind it, how the operating system accesses that stuff. Like I was a little concerned about how much video and regular RAM they get, but if they can, the storage is becoming so fast that I mean, like you can pull those textures right off that solid state drive, put them in RAM, swing them back. It's not going to be that hard or
Right.
that heavy. So
Do you think you're going to buy in on the new set of consoles, or at least the PlayStation 5 specifically? I know you're not going to be picking up the Xbox One
there will have to be a game that
or Series X. Sorry,
yeah, there will have to be a game that I have to get.
but what is that game?
I
Because
don't know.
if we look through the entire
That's the deal.
history of
Like
the PlayStation 4, and there is, I could probably sit here and name you 20 AAA must play, maybe not even, we'll eliminate AAA, 20 must play titles over the course of the PlayStation 4, and you didn't buy in. So what game would make you buy in?
I don't
Which,
know.
that's a good question for our next segment. So now, John, it's time for the segment, favorite games of all time. I'm going to start us off, and then I'll kick it over to you. So I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it. But I've got a laundry list. I've built a list in my phone, and as I scroll through it, I just got to pick and choose which games I think I want to talk about. And this one stands among the top. I think it's a very obvious, very simple, very basic one, but I'm going to go with God of War. And when I say God of War, I'm talking about the 2018 version on the PS4. It's a third-person action game. You kind of start to see a trend with me. I do enjoy the third-person action games. There's no shame in that, but it's great for what the genre needed. I am a huge fan of the original trilogy, God of War 1, 2, and 3. I didn't play God of War Ascension, but I did play the two God of Wars for the PSP, and I enjoyed both of those, exponentially. I played again God of War 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and then God of War 3 was on the PlayStation 3, and then God of War was on PlayStation 4. They did a great job of expanding the mythos, moving forward with the story, not just completely rebooting it, but they did take it from a Greek mythology and moved it over into a Norse mythology. They introduced Kratos' son, Atreus, and basically he's kind of building him up as a hunter, as a man, as a self-sustaining adult, and then you meet um, other gods in the Norse mythology. I won't ruin anything because this is the game that when we talk about buying into the PlayStation is something that you should play. If you think, are you remotely interested in
In God of War.
not God of War, Greek mythology, Norse mythology?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if you don't like the original God of War games, this God of War game specifically is in its own camp. Still third person action, still kind of beat 'em up, but it introduces enough RPG and exploration. Uh, the graphics are just unparalleled. It is beautiful. It runs phenomenal. I mean, this game, in my opinion, is flawless. And to my knowledge, it's the first and only game that operates in one take. It starts at the beginning with the camera and never cuts, which I've never heard of that happening in a video
No
game.
cutscenes.
No, there's cutscenes, but it doesn't cut. It doesn't cut to his back. It doesn't cut. You know what I'm saying? Like it just the camera, if it wants to pan around to his front, it pans around, and then it comes back around to the back for the actual action. It's so great. This game is Gaga. It is one of the best games ever made, and it takes what is already a great mechanic and it just builds upon it. You have just his Kratos' axe, which I'm forgetting the name of right now, is amazing. It works much like Thor's hammer in the sense that he can throw it, he can use melee attacks, but he can throw it, and then you hit another button to recall it to his hand. So, I mean, like, you'd find yourself so many times just walking off into the distance, finding a big cliff, and just throwing your axe off the cliff, and then walking, you fist fight if you don't have your axe, And so this could be 3 hours later. You hit the recall button, your axe comes, and you feel it vibrating as it's getting closer, and then he catches it, and then you can deal some more damage. It's so good. It is so good. It's a game I want to return to on a regular basis. I need to play through it for a second time, but it is one of the best games ever made. So
Hmm.
that's mine for this week. How about you?
This one is definitely not story oriented like yours. This one is just grab a gun, get a couple of friends, and just kill hordes of ghouls. I would say they're ghouls. They're not zombies. They're ghoul. They're definitely ghoulish. It's killing floor, and it has limited playability once the second one came out because there's less people that get on the servers for it. But you just start off in a location, and there are waves of ghouls and other various monsters that just keep on coming. You got to go to the store to buy ammunition, maybe a little bit of health. But the developers have been pretty active, and like they'll have seasons. So like when it hits winter time, the big bad demon guy is actually like mutated Santa Claus, and all the ghouls are now elves, demonic elves and stuff. Yes.
Real world wintertime? Or are you talking in?
Yeah, they
Oh,
do it.
okay.
They do it seasonal based.
That's
Yeah,
cool. That's cool.
yeah, it is pretty cool. And like Halloween, they just get like a little like maybe it's Jack Skellington or the Pumpkin King is coming for you. So it's kind of it's it's got those aspects in it. Like you're not gonna there's no story, so don't expect it. There are characters with backstory, but I mean like you're just in there to kill, to survive, to get to the next wave with your buddies. And I don't know. I that kind of like simplicity to where it's not like I don't need to think of anything. I just need 15 minutes to play this game, murder bitches or get murdered. Just everybody gets wiped.
Sure.
Um, just to play that game. And I think that it does a great job of just get in and get out.
It
You
seems
know.
I played Killing Floor 2, I want to say, and it seemed like a nice mix of um, I want to say Quake, Serious Sam, and maybe Left 4 Dead. So it brings in like the fast-paced mechanics of like a Quake and a Serious Sam game, and then it brings in the multiplayer horde mode of a Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea that that's the vibe I get from it.
Yeah. It definitely is. So.
So it's a game I'll definitely have to check out, but I've added it to the list. We don't have, this is episode 8, so we should be 8 deep. Let me double count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're only 7 deep. I think I introduced this into the second episode. We're trying to get to a list of 12 so we can introduce a new segment, and we'll go into that once we get to that mark. So we've got, 5-ish more games to go through. But John, do you have anything else that's been entertaining you this week or anything else exciting to talk about?
Nothing that's coming into my mind, to be honest.
Well,
Hey,
there's
that
nothing wrong with
mustard
that.
beer, you guys all like
I
turned
said I would
down.
try it. I said I would try
Yeah,
it.
I'm down.
We'll get
I
it.
gotta find it though. I
Get it.
gotta
We'll give it a
find.
shot. We have a couple of different things in the iron. A few irons in the fire, I guess I should say. Like I said, after this, I hope to uh, record a Ghost of Tsushima uh,
Do I
review.
need to do some kind of gameplay thing too, or am I good?
No,
I'm
you're
off the
good.
hook.
No, me specifically. This was going to be a solo effort. I've captured some game footage, so I'm going to put that together. It's probably not something I'll put together until after I get back from my vacation,
Do
but
I need to get a GoPro so I can show everybody me walking my cat or anything?
yep, that. You should definitely do that, and I will definitely attach it to one of our videos at some point. So that would be awesome. Or just do it on your phone. You set up your new phone and walk around. Um, so we've got that episode 7 of the Nobody Entertainment podcast featured one of our best friends, Stephen Holland. Um,
Whoa.
so if you guys want to take a step back and look at that, it'll be released this coming Thursday. Yes, you had a
Is it
comment.
like our best friend or like is it Melania Trump be best?
I'm going to go with Melania Trump be best for sure. So he
Yeah,
gives me
there's a
that
lot of
vibe.
effort that has to go in that.
That's true. Um,
On our side, not his. He doesn't put any in whatsoever.
he got a job, so that's something. But also, I'm going to Yellowstone over this next week. So you guys will hear a little bit more about that on the next conversation. So with that being said, this has been episode 8 of the Nobody Entertainment Podcast. I want to thank you, the viewer, for sticking with us. I want to thank John, Nobody John, for sticking in there and having a conversation with me. And then,
So
yeah,
hard.
we hope to see you next time. John, leave us on some words of wisdom.
Um, Speaking of hard, if it's hard, deal with it with a hammer. Maybe.
That got dark. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Dark or perverted. Yeah, 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 yeah.